I just remembered something Josh asked me to do, and it's not going to be quite ready, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's start. Let's look. It's week 2 of Gambletown. Welcome back to football, everybody.
Oh
Our heavily vibes based week 1 picks not so hot. Our total was 6-10.
yeah, and we
No,
missed
6
all
and
the
9.
plays.
But sucked, man. Like I was perfect through the early games and I'm like, let's go. And then sure enough, hubris. Um,
Yeah.
but
BTJ had an underwhelming game, but I still got his touchdown.
yeah, so Ryan hit his Millie bet.
And like the thing is, like my Adunze and Hunter bets were both really close. They were like one JC Horn interception away from my Travis Hunter bets coming in.
Ugh, yeah. Well, it's
It's
great
it
because as the season goes, we get more data, and as we get more data, our picks get sharper.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I always
I'm
What
start
did
off
I
slow.
what did I think I had 3 out of my 5 top bets hit, or
yeah, you
maybe
went 3 and 2.
yeah,
I went
yeah,
2 and
yeah.
3. Wally went 1 and 4, and that'll be our order this week as we talk about our plays. So, unless you guys got any breaking news like Jalen Polk going to the Saints, I figure we can just get after it.
Okay.
Cool. All right, Ryan, tell us about your first top 5 bet of the week.
Guys, my first top 5 bet of the week. I'm rolling with the same line. It's not plus 118 like it was last week. It's minus 102. It's Hunter Henry's over 3.5 receptions. He had 8 targets and 4 catches last week. I think this is another guaranteed lock. I mean, he's an integral part of that offense, and it shows right off the bat in the first game of the season. So I think that's great. Minus 102, Hunter Henry over 3.5.
And that's a good matchup right there. So
Yeah,
I get it.
especially against that rivalry against Miami. I know it's in Miami, but Miami's is in shambles right now. McDaniel, if he doesn't, he's probably going to be one of the first coaches fired. I would think. Um, Although I don't know the history of Dolphins doing that. If you guys know,
No,
do Dolphins historically ever fire coaches midseason or
I think so.
okay?
But I will say Hunter Henry has had 4 or more receptions in 9 of his 12 games with Drake May. So,
Hell yeah, let's get
uh,
it.
last year against Miami, Hunter Henry caught 5 passes. So I like that play a lot.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna go second because I had the second best performance yesterday, and I'm going back to the well. I'm gonna hit the Roma Dunze line this week. I got it a little earlier than Waleed. I got it at 45 and a half. Um,
Okay.
Romo Dunze has been like they do reception perception does their in-season charting, and they talk about Rome and how Rome continued last week to crush man coverage because that's what he does. Detroit
Sure.
plays the most man coverage in the league. Um, Odunze had a 100% success rate on his curls, an 83% success rate on his slants. So, um, him being a main target for Caleb, like I said, he led the team in targets last week. I think with man coverage going in a game that I think could put up some points, and with a line at 45 and a half, I'm all in on Romo Dunze at 45 and a half yards
Um,
receiving.
I will say the FanDuel AI I think watches our spreadsheet because last night about 10:30 I checked the line and it was at 51 and a half. It has since come down since this morning to 49 and a half. So you guys are going to be real lucky if you find it any lower than 49 and a half, but that's where it is right now.
I don't
Currently
mind it at
46 and a
49.
half at BetMGM, which
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
to the casino afterwards. So
Okay.
Sure. All right. So Waleed,
so my number one bet, also going back to the well. The only thing I got right last week was Brees Hall. His line was like, what was it, like 45 or was something
it was like
criminally underrated.
44. Yeah.
Yeah. He's at 16 and a half rushing yards, but I'm still smashing that because like Derrick Henry went off on the Bills last week. Brees Hall, like we saw that they were committed to running the ball with the Jets. Brees Hall
Yeah.
is an elite talent at running back, and he looked good. Like it wasn't
He
just that
did.
he was like getting carries; he looked good carrying the football. So I'm gonna keep smashing the Brees Hall line until it becomes like not profitable.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Explosive rushes, man.
I like Brees this week. Buffalo's rush defense does not look good.
Okay. All right, Ryan, your second top 5 bet of the week.
Guys, we can get plus money on this somehow. Brenton Strange was very heavily involved in the Jacksonville offense, and I think against the Cincinnati defense this week, this is my like awesome game of the week. Cincinnati versus Jacksonville.
Of the week.
BTJ is going to get more involved for sure, but I think Brenton Strange is a lock for over 3.5 receptions, and right now on FanDuel it's plus money. It's plus 100. So I'm locking that in 3.5 receptions.
Okay. Okay. My second top 5 bet of the week is a number that looks big, but it's simply not. Puka Nacua over 80.5 receiving yards. I got it minus 114. Nothing too crazy. Did you know over his last 10 games that weren't cut short by injury or ejection, Nacua has 1,074 yards.
Damn.
He over those last 10 games, he's run 264 routes and had 107 targets on those.
Nice.
He was the first read for Matthew Stafford on 41% of passes last week. He ran 76% of his routes from the slot last week, and Tennessee allowed 9 catches on 11 targets to receivers in the slot last week. So Puka at 80.5 receiving is my second top 5 bet of the week.
I like it. I'm a believer.
You're never gonna go wrong with Puka. I mean,
Wally, can I ask you, did you do my my Zay Flowers bet last week?
I did not, and I'm so mad that I didn't because. But you know what? I missed 1 week, but I almost want you to explain this because you. I think you had the numbers better. I don't remember. It was 90 yards, right?
Yeah, I said that like Zay Flowers is on our team previews for TH Fantasy. Zay Flowers' yardage lines tend to float around like 48 to 56 in season.
Yeah.
And he's only going to have like 6 games this year, 5 games this year where he goes well over. But when he goes over, he erupts. So I was saying if you hung a couple bucks on Zay Flowers 90 plus every week this year, it was going to end up profitable over time. And if you listened and you tailed, you're 1 for 1.
Yep. And I didn't tail last week, and I meant to, and I'm kind of upset with myself because like it was in my head, but I decided to just kind of go with my homer picks, and that's kind of weird too because Zay Flowers is absolutely a homer guy for me. But you know what? I'm still gonna get there because Zay Flowers, the wide receiver one in fantasy on the week last week, over 90 at plus 240. Let's go.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I like it a lot. All right, Ryan, pick 3.
Oh, did
Hello.
Waleed do his third one?
Yeah, Zay Flowers over 90
Oh,
yards.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So number 3 this week, guys. And Shane agrees with me. I think Shane was talking about 80.5, but I got it on FanDuel. CD Lamb over 78.5 receiving yards. This was actually Tony's awesome game of the week. Giants versus Dallas. It's a rivalry game. I think Dallas is going to come out and try and score a lot of points. And guys, CD Lamb had his over in the first quarter last game. Well, I know that the Giants' defensive line is good. The secondary is not that great. So I think CD Lamb is a lock for at least 100 yards, but I'm taking his over at 78.5. I got on FanDuel minus 114. CD Lamb.
Okay. My third bet of the week, I got on Caesars. I took a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown, minus 130, so not great, but let's pump our numbers up here. It's still early in the season. I want to get shit right.
Sure. Yeah.
So
let's get our confidence going.
And so last week, Jamar Chase had lower targets, receptions, and receiving yards than he did in any game during his Triple Crown season in 2024. In September, throughout his career, he's averaging 5.3 receptions, 70.4 receiving yards, and 0.56 touchdowns per game. So the Jags being the Jags, even if he doesn't get there in yardage, I do believe that Jamar Chase is going to get there in the end zone. So my third top 5 bet of the week is a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown.
Love it.
Wally, what do you got, buddy?
I'm also going back to the well here. because Tony pointed this out. Roma Dunze last week wasn't he like the best separator?
He was one of, yeah, on his
Yeah, he
9
was one of the
targets.
best separators. The targets weren't there, and
They
I
were.
personally I've been very vocal in the offseason that I think Minnesota Vikings are one of the best defenses in football. I think they're going to be. I think Brian Flores creates trouble. I think that Roma Dunze is going to look a lot better, and his line's even a little lower than last week. So I'm gonna double down on Roma Dunze at over half receiving.
Okay,
Okay.
I like it.
Ryan, you're fourth.
All right, guys. In a game against Carolina's poorest defense, I think Trey McBride is a lock for 60.5 yards. He's just the most integral part of that offense right now. I mean, Harrison had a decent game. It's looking like, maybe Harrison won't be as bad as Tony thought he's going to be this year, but there's still plenty of time for him to prove that. So Trey McBride is Kyler Murray's safety valve. I think 60.5 is easy in this game, especially if Carolina, he could have that in the first half if Carolina comes out or if Arizona comes out and gets 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first half.
You're banking on that I like the bet, but you're banking on a Drew Petzing offense scoring 3 times in one half. That's wild.
That's true.
I am going to the tight end well myself here. Not as much as Ryan, but I think we have a mispriced player prop here. Harold Fannin over 3.5 receptions.
I like
I
that too.
I don't think that Harold Fannin is like stealing David Njoku's shit. I think that like he's just gonna be like we use this guy all over the field matchup guy. Like Fannin had a bunch of scheme touches.
Yep.
Right? He had 9 targets. They were all schemed. Fannin had a 24% first read target share in week 1. They're trying to get him the ball. I think they're going to be playing from behind against Baltimore quite a bit. So I see a lot of like screen passes, short checkdowns to Harold Fannin. So I'm taking his over at 3.5 catches.
Yeah,
Waleed,
with
you're
I
Fannin,
like that.
like with
Okay.
Fannin, it was very clear. Like they were actively trying to get him the ball. So a line of
Correct.
3.5. I told Tony about this off the air. That was a bet that I was already kind of looking at, and I didn't want to hail Tony too much, but that's one of my favorite bets of the week.
I will tell you this. I think I don't think that Fannin is someone I want in DFS in on FanDuel where it's half PPR, but in full PPR, I'm all about it. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I will say I got to watch a little bit of the all 22 condensed game from last week for Cleveland. They used him if you are a dynasty player or you scout or whatever. They used him a lot like how Penn State used Tyler Warren.
Okay.
So a lot of short stuff, a lot of
Even
like
running.
motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, Waleed, what is your 4th top 5 pick of the week?
So I really like Dak Prescott over 249.5 passing yards. I saw
I
that
like
they
it.
were throwing the ball, and mainly they're going to throw the ball, but also the Giants did not look very good at football, and
No.
especially because of how Washington looked in like week 2. I know it was a short week, but I feel like the Giants might be one of the worst teams in football, and I'm basically betting on that being the case when I make the silver. And it's a safe bet because I think most of us agreed going into the season that the Giants are probably one of the worst.
I like the fact that like this is the game Ryan mentioned this earlier. This is my um game of the week for good things, not my shitty game of the week because I think that Dallas's defense is just bad enough that we could see a lot of points in this game. So if there's a lot of points, Dak's going to be passing because it sure as shit ain't going to be Javonte Williams. All right, Ryan, your 5th top 5 bet of the week.
As we're going with the Mac Jones led offense this week, we're going with McCaffrey's over 4.5 receptions. Guys, he had 9 last week with Purdy. I think he could even get more with Mac Jones. He's going to be checking down. He's going to be the safety valve. Kittle's out. They're just going to let McCaffrey run this offense. I don't see how Mac Jones does that bad. I mean, look, he was super serviceable last year, the second half of the season, with Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jags. Um, he's got Pearsall to throw to. But I think McCaffrey's going to be that safety valve. I'm taking McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions.
I was
like
looking at the rushing plus receiving line for McCaffrey. It's like 120, so I wasn't going to do it. I think the 4.5 receptions line is like that's
Yeah,
where you're going to get the value on McCaffrey. So I really like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. My fifth top five bet of the week is Elick Manor of the Tennessee Titans over 2.5 receptions.
Shit. I
This
did
is
not think we would have an AO Manor bet this early in the season, but here we go, guys.
this is a
Wow,
guy
I
that
can't believe you're an AO Manor hater.
oh
No, I'm
god,
not.
get out of
I'm not a
here.
hater.
Some of us,
I
some of us
I
believe.
I liked him. I just thought it would take a little time to transition, but
We
here we are,
love
week 2.
we loved A.O. Manor's profile when we were doing our scouting process for TH Fantasy.
Yeah.
We thought that he was a great developmental guy, and like honestly, it's the same shit with Dante Thornton for the Raiders, right? Like there are some guys they come in and they just get it right away. And
I know. I'm just giving Ryan shit. That's all.
oh,
I was
and
saying.
so
I'm just busting his balls.
A.O. Manor had an 84% snap share last week. He saw just one less target than Calvin Ridley. He had a 28% target share. Now I know he had 3.3 fantasy points, but his first read target share, so the amount of his team's first reads, 36.8%.
Damn.
That was ninth
Can I
in the
throw another?
league.
Can I throw another number out there for you?
Sure.
The Broncos only gave up 62 passing yards. Like
Right.
they were the number 1 pass defense in football. So,
And
by virtue of it being easier.
Elick A.O. Manor leads the league right now in unrealized air yards after week 1 with 120.
Ooh, that's a fun
So,
stat.
so I think A.O. Manor is going to be one of those guys that it's fun to bet on and put in DFS lineups early. I think the price goes up, and I think when he strings together a few good weeks that start this week, so I'm taking us over at 2.5 receptions. What do you got, Waleed?
My last bet of the week is just a very simple New England money line bet at plus 110 against the Miami Dolphins. Reason is because the Miami Dolphins last week looked like the worst team in football. Like, of all the teams that got
Yeah,
pantsed,
they look bad.
got pantsed the hardest. And like, frankly, I think that's one of those things where we already knew McDaniel was on the hot seat. And sometimes you see that where like the team just falls off a cliff that next year. It was that last year of Matt Nagy. You know what I mean? That's what I think is kind of happening there.
Do you remember that episode of The Simpsons when they get the pool and Martin wears like 30 pairs of swim trunks and everyone
Yes.
pants him? That's what happened to the Dolphins in week 1.
What a
And
great
every
goal.
Colts player ran up and ripped off a bathing suit off Martin
Yeah.
from The Simpsons.
And the Colts might be just like a lot better than we're giving them credit for. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. There were signs that pointed to that being a possibility, but I think it's much more likely the Dolphins are bad because that roster is like that roster isn't right
No,
for
it's
long
not
term sustained success.
because they're a bad football team and they haven't invested quality anything into the offensive line. So
Or like their lines are weird. Like they lack talent and importance.
yep.
That like fundamentally in the long run will just wreck a football team.
All right, let's talk parlays. Ryan, give us your first parlay of the week.
As my money line parlay for this week, I'm going with the Rams, who should have not too hard of a time against Tennessee. I'm going with Buffalo. I'm going with Denver. And I'm going with the Chargers on Monday Night Football.
Okay.
I threw 5 units down at plus 427 to bring me back almost $27.
Okay. And then your second parlay.
My second parlay, I'm going with my game of the week, the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Bengals. I'm doing a BTJ touchdown, a Chase touchdown, Brenton Strange over 3.5 receptions, and ETN's alternate rush line of 50 plus yards. That gives me plus 1109 odds. This is my most baller parlay so far this year. I was kind of conservative last week in terms of me for parlays. Maybe not. But plus 1109 odds. I put $5 down to bring me 60.
Okay. My money line parlay 49ers, Ravens, Eagles. Nothing too crazy here, but because I really think, guys, I think Philly fucking waxes the Chiefs.
Okay.
Real shit. So I got that at plus 238. Hung $10 on it to bring me back 33.82. And then instead of doing like most of the lines I liked this week were lines that I worked into my top 5 bets of the week. And I just don't want to do that for my same game parlay too. I want to spread out a little bit because I really wanted to do like a Puka AO Manor type deal. So I found a third piece of action in that game I liked. So I have 3 anytime touchdowns, CMC, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, and I got plus 244 on that. Hung $10 down. It would bring me back 34.44 if it hits. Waleed?
So I'm calling an audible on my first parlay. I was going to do a Dak, a Cowboy stack, but like I kind of started thinking about the Dolphins, and I realized the parlay I really want to do is a four-legger on Drake May. I'm
Okay.
going Drake May over 1.5 passing touchdowns and over 221.5 passing yards. I'm also
Okay.
going Kayshon Boutte over 42.5 receiving yards and an anytime touchdown. Boutte was the number one target, like on the Patriots. He was a sneaky. I think he's a sneaky value because we assume Diggs is going to be the number one guy, but I think Boutte might end up like there's an argument that he's going to be the guy that's going to be a focal point of that offense based on the week one numbers. And I'm getting
Can
a
I?
low on him. Oh,
No, please go ahead. I have something
oh
when you're done.
okay. I was going to. Actually it was done. So
So I've been a Butte believer. I have quite a few best ball shares as like around 20 guy for all my Drake May stacks. Um, so one of the reception perception charts that they did was for Butte. So not only did he lead the team in air yards last year, but last week he had 80.3 of his snaps on the outside as the traditional X receiver. He ran a go on 36% of his routes, a dig on 28, and a curl on 19. So the issue is that according to Harmon, the Josh McDaniels offense uses the X receiver as a vertical option, and he's usually just a sacrificial target, right? Just go deep. However, like I wanted to take the under on Butte because I like going unders on players like that who are boom bust. Because let's be real, guys, the Raiders are a secondary, as we talked about with Keenan Allen. Like
yeah,
the Raiders are probably one of the worst secondaries in the league,
yeah.
Sure.
and so I don't think he's going to be a high volume player. And I love to, like I said, I love taking the unders on dudes like this. But for like the low 40s or mid 40s as his receiving line was just a little bit too low for me to feel comfortable taking the under on. So I like that
Okay.
play. I like
I
the
think I
over on
think
yards.
Yeah, I think it was the usage that really kind of caught my eye. And the fact
Oh
is,
yeah.
the way they're using him too is like if he hits that over, good chance he hits that touchdown. Like I say, I like my parlays to play into each other, and it feels like I'm getting a good price on what I'm trying to do here. So
Did you guys see Pop Douglas's stats from week 1?
I did not.
Two
It was
catches,
bad, right? Yeah.
two catches, minus 2 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's
That's
right. He did get the touchdown.
So his projected numbers for the year: 34 catches, minus 34 yards, 17 touchdowns. There you go. So
You can't even use him in golf league.
no, it's too risky.
No,
All
yeah.
Uh,
right, so then let's do our millionaire bets. Ryan, you're the one that.
I still
Oh,
have
go
a
ahead.
second parlay.
I thought you. Oh, you're right. You have a money line. Lay it
I
on
do
me.
have my money. I did a money line this week, like you guys usually do, but I went only plus odds on my money line. So we're going big on this one because I like to do one of my parlays to have a big potential payoff. New England is already one of my top 5 bets of the week, and I really like their chances of winning against Miami. The Bears against the Lions, I think it was a rocky start for the Bears, but I also kind of feel like Ben Johnson's going like he knows the Lions roster as well as anyone. I think they're going to have a good game plan, and at plus 256, I think I'm getting more than enough juice to make that worthwhile. And then the Carolina Panthers, well, you know what? I wanted to add a plus odds, and I'm just gonna let Tony cover that when he hits his millionaire because I just wanted
Yeah,
to go. So my $5 bet is going to pay off at plus 2357, $117.85. So it's a nice payout if it hits.
absolutely. All right, so Ryan, your Millie bet of the week.
Letting it ride, guys. I'm going
That's
with
the
another.
viscount, by the way.
It's true.
I'm going with another BTJ touchdown. Was 125 last week. It's plus 120 this week. So I took that 2250 to get almost $50 for next week.
I love it. Waleed, yours came much closer to hitting than
Yeah.
mine. So what was your second?
Oh, I'm trying to overthrow our new viscount of Gambletown, Ryan Edgecombe, with Travis Hunter again. I'm doubling down on it because J.C. Horn is not in this game, so I think he's got a much better chance of getting that touchdown. At plus 220, that'll pay out $22 for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
I
32
decided to go with
technically.
I'm going with a straight money line. I took the Carolina Panthers at plus 260 to
Oh
beat
shit.
Arizona. I was actually surprised they were one of the biggest dogs on the slate. Um, because I think we have an not improper, but incomplete read on what the Panthers can do given how long that rain delay was last week.
Okay.
Um, also,
That's a
like,
fair assessment. Like, because that game was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
weird.
right. And so I also think that that's why I like Dallas so much this week, is because I want to see what 60 full minutes of football looks like. A lot of people a lot of Bears defenders talked about how last week you consider it with the extra game on the schedule, like week 1 is essentially the last week of the preseason for a lot of these teams because not all the installs are in, whatever. And so I kind of think that, look, in the Jonathan Gannon era, the Cardinals are 9-9 at home. That's not inspiring.
Sure.
They have a quarterback who chokes, and Carolina's defense fucking sucks. But I'm going to tell you guys, man, I really think Tetro McMillan is him.
Yeah.
And I think Chuba Hubbard has some him tendencies. I think that Bryce Young using his wheels a lot more than he did. Like last week, he ripped off some fucking sick giant run. Like that's what I want to see. And so
Sure.
I think we don't have a great read on Carolina. I think Carolina was a team that people talked about maybe being a surprise playoff contender this year. So I'm going with the Panthers money line, and if I win, I would be up to $36. So let's
Nice.
before we do our DFS, let's run through our top 5 bets of the week. Ryan, one more time, start us off.
Guys, we're going Hunter Henry over 3.5 receptions. Going Brenton Strange over 3.5 receptions. We're going CD Lambs over 78.5 yards. We're going Trey McBride's over 60.5 receiving yards. And we're going McCaffrey over 4.5 receptions.
Okay. I'm at Romo Dunze over 45.5, Puka over 80.5, a Jamar Chase touchdown, Harold Fannin over 3.5 receptions, Elick, the digital lick AO Manor over 2.5 receptions. Waleed, your 5?
My top 5 bets of the week, I got Brees Hall over 60.5 rushing yards. I've got Zay Flowers over 90 receiving yards at plus 240. Roman Dunze over 46.5 receiving yards. Dak Prescott over 249.5 passing yards, and the New England Patriots money line.
Okay. Waleed, your parlays.
My parlays, I got my New England build. I got Drake May over 1.5 passing touchdowns, over 221.5 passing yards. Booty over 42.5 receiving yards, and an anytime touchdown.
Okay, Ryan.
That gives. Oh, also.
Oh, sorry, you got one more.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I got for $5, it's plus 624. That pays out $31.23. I also have my money line bets, which is Patriots, the Bears, and the Panthers at plus 2357. $5 will pay out $117.85.
Okay.
I'm really
And
hoping that one hits. That'd be great.
right.
It's a fun one, and I think I
Yeah,
think they're all reasonable outcomes.
I think so.
Ryan, your parlays.
On my parlays, money line guys, Rams, Buffalo, Denver, Chargers. That gives you plus 427 odds. I put 5 on it to win a little over 26.
In your same game?
Oh, and then my same game parlay, I did ETN's adjusted alt rushing line of 50 plus. I took Brenton Strange's over 3.5 receptions from my top 5 bets. And then I also did a chase and a BTJ touchdown. one of my more riskier parlays, but I think honestly that seems like how that game script's gonna work anyway. Plus 1109, $5 down to win a little over 60.
Okay. My money line 49ers, Ravens, Eagles, plus 238. My anytime touchdown parlay, CMC, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, plus 244. Ryan, our Lord and Savior, your millionaire bet of the week one last time.
My millionaire bet, guys, I'm letting it roll. Another BTJ touchdown. I don't care
Okay.
how it happens. I think it's gonna happen.
Okay. Waleed.
Travis Hunter is going to get there at plus 220 to pay out $32.
And I'm going with the Carolina Panthers money line. So
Well, wait, take in mind too, Waleed's bet. I think on fan, at least they did last week. I didn't check this week, but they don't count a special teams or defensive touchdown towards that, right?
Oh, I know.
I
I
just
know.
want to make. I just want our listeners to know, like,
Which
it's not.
sucks.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen. Like if he gets a pick six or something.
which is
Which is
bullshit, but I get
bullshit.
it.
Right.
So, all right. So I think the question that everybody wants to know is Josh going to grace us with a DFS lineup this week?
Oh, I want to know
Oh
that for
shit.
sure.
And will it have Westbrook Akine in it?
If it doesn't, he's not our producer anymore.
Replaced.
That's true. That's true. He's the Nick Westbrook Akine whisperer.
Whisper.
All right, cool. So then Ryan, you go first. Who's your quarterback this week on FanDuel, half PPR?
Guys, honestly, I'm rolling it back with Drake May because I think he gets a couple touchdowns this week. He had almost 300 yards last week. Just didn't have the touchdowns. So I'm gonna roll with Drake May.
Okay. Waleed, your quarterback.
It was going to be Drake May, but I'm willing to go back to Trevor Lawrence and roll it back because Trevor Lawrence had a good game. Like he was decent for fantasy. He wasn't outstanding, but you had to rain delay. And frankly, he's playing the Bengals, and we saw Flacco go off. So I
Right.
feel like
Yeah.
that defensive matchup is going to be a nice addition.
Okay. And then my quarterback this week, I'll eat the chalk. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go on DraftKings Mac Jones for $4,000 because it allows me to get crazy elsewhere. Josh, what do you
I love
think?
That's true. Okay.
Okay. Do you do FanDuel or DraftKings? I can't remember. Okay. Okay. All right, then Ryan, your FanDuel running back of the week.
I'm going super chalk this week, guys. Since I in my super flex that we did for TH Fantasy, we did Mac Jones and Drake May. We were able to afford a lot of more expensive players. So I'm going super chalk. I'm going McCaffrey. He's gonna have an awesome game.
Okay.
I love it.
Waleed.
The guy I love more is one of my top 5 bets of the week. I'm rolling with Brees Hall. Brees Hall was a great value, and it's 6,200 on DK, and he does get catches. It's a solid play.
Okay. I am gonna also go with CMC at 7,500. Mac Jones paying down allows me to do that as well. Josh, your running back. Yes.
I like that too.
Love it.
All people we mentioned from another guy we had in our lineup was James Conner with a good matchup against Carolina.
The guy I was actually kind of looking at too, especially with the trade. I think Travis Etienne at 5,700 has some juice.
Sure.
Sure.
All right, Ryan, your receiver.
God, since we've paid down at freaking quarterback in a lot of these lineups, I'm going chalk again, guys. I'm going CD. He's gonna have an awesome game.
I can't fault that at all.
Nope. Waleed, who you going with?
Honestly, I'm gonna go for the cheap value here. If I go May, I want Booty in there. Like he's gonna be
Okay.
one of my pay downs because I think that he's nice, like $4,500 full PPR. Let's go against a team that looked like a dumpster fire.
Sure.
Okay. Josh, your wide receiver. Yeah. Well, And Kyler Gordon not playing is a big deal for
I think so
whoever the
too.
opponent's slot
How long is he out?
receiver is. Don't know. He just got declared out on Thursday though, so
That's
wasn't
not
even close. I'm gonna go with Puka. I don't know if I said that or not. All right, Ryan, your tight end
Guys, my mid tier kind of shitty tight end of the week.
of the week.
Brent Strange.
Be strange. Okay, Waleed.
So, because I'm spending 4,500 on Booty, I'll spend 6,000 on Trey McBride.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people paying down this week at tight end, so maybe investing a little bit of money there will give you some positional advantage. I'm fortunately one of the people who's paying down since it's DK and it's full PPR. I am down with Harold Fannin at 3,100. He is bargain basement, and if I get another 7 catches for 45 yards, I'll fucking take it in a heartbeat. Josh, who you got? Juwan
Juwan
Johnson.
Johnson. Okay.
Okay.
Dude, he's tight
Okay.
end 1 on the week. Like, ain't no shame. Ryan, your fantasy defense of the week.
I think, guys, I'm going with New England against Miami. I'm taking that flyer. I'm taking that chance.
Not a bad 2,800 on DK playing a team that, I mean, that's a great play.
What do you got, Waleed?
Well, I also went out. Patriots were was my number 3 defensive play of the week. My number 2
Okay.
was the Bears, and that's who I'm going with at 2,500. I want to save that extra 300 to put it elsewhere.
Okay.
Got to save up for McCaffrey.
I think we all do the same thing when it comes to building DFS lineups with defense. Start at the bottom, work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm doing this week is I'm going with the $2,700 Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh, interesting.
Going against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has no interest in establishing anyone other than Kenneth Gainwell. I think Mike McDonald brings enough pressure to make things interesting because Pittsburgh's offensive line is garbo. So
that defense looked good in week 1, and that was one of my sleeper defenses, so I like it.
And that was the problem last week is their defense played well, but the offense didn't pick them up. So if we can get some turnovers, I think you're more likely to get a strip sack on Aaron Rodgers than you are the mobile Brock Purdy. Let's let it ride. Josh, who you got for your defense? Yes.
Really?
Confirmation bias. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So one last time, let me run through everybody's lineups. Ryan, Drake May, CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Brenton Strange, New England. Waleed went Trevor Lawrence, Brees Hall, Kayshon Boutte, Trey McBride, and the Bears. I went with Mac Jones, CMC, Puka, Harold Fannin in Seattle. Josh also went Mac Jones, Chase Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Juwan Johnson, and the Seahawks. Week 2. Let's get some money.
Let's win.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make that happen. Go ahead, Waleed.
I was gonna say, time to bounce back from week 1. As a show, we weren't the only guy. We weren't as good as we could have been, but we didn't have all the data.
Speak for yourself.
Oh god, dude, I'm so
100%.
excited. And I'm adding another
week 1
category.
I think I did pretty good for week 1. None of my parlays hit, but I hit my millionaire and I went 3 for 5. So
yeah, 3 and 2 is what we call a winning record.
Dude,
Like points totals for games?
I actually thought I was thinking about that on Sunday. Week 1 unders are probably like historically a much better play, like just because defenses are usually ahead of offenses in the beginning.
Except for the outlier, because last week I thought that the shittiest game of the week was going to be the Jets versus Pittsburgh, and they end up combining for like 80 points.
Yeah,
I mean, I ended up.
Right.
that's
I
fine.
keep
He's used all his juice. He's done.
I
He's
keep
cooked.
meticulous notes, and I had $272 in everything, and I ended back with 248. So if I had made any money in DFS, I would have been positive on the week. So I think that's
Sure.
I feel good about trending in the right direction in terms of identifying what I need to do. So I'm ready to go. I'm locking it in. I'm ready for us to keep kicking ass. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
hopefully you guys do the same. And I think that's it. We'll see
I think
everybody
yeah.
so
next
too.
week.